down. Welcome to Talking the Gridiron here. Sunday night, fourth quarter. Lions at Niners. Niners just took the lead here on a field goal, coming back from 24-7, 27-24, Jimmy, with just about 10 minutes left to play. Just under that. Lions about to get the ball back. We'll keep you updated on that along the way here. We should have Jordan Max in here quickly on Variety Sports Network. Joined again by Jimmy Pilato. Jimmy, what a show last week. Appreciate the fans that tuned in, the comments, all that. That's what kept this fun for us when we first started. So appreciate it. Let's keep this pumping through the fourth quarter tonight. You keep us updated in the comments. We're glad to be with you right now with it. Lions, Niners, give us a good finish here. It looks like that we're getting again. Jimmy, how you doing?
I'm good so far. I'm hoping things work out. If things go the way that I would like them to go, I will have probably sealed up our playoff pick'em. So I'll be back-to-back champions over on our podcast, which everybody should go follow on social media as well at FEOTB Pod. And no, that it would be good because the Ravens aren't going to win another Super Bowl before the Bengals. I don't really like the Chiefs, but I knew here's the thing. When you're right, you're right. And I said, if Lamar Jackson wins a Super Bowl and I can't just call him a running back who plays quarterback anymore, I might as well get out of the contact game. I don't have to worry about that. He helped me out quite a bit. He helped me out, and then hopefully Purdy helps me out on my other really hot take, and I win both my battles in one night, and I can just go to bed happy. The kids are gonna be like, "Wow, Mr. Plato's so upbeat. What happened?" But I was proven correct. My wild swing in the NFL season, I've been proven correct. I'm the smartest man alive. You guys can't touch me.
Who told you everything? So Lions are getting the ball back right now as we get it, as the smartest man alive there in Denver, as we get into it, talking the ground. We only got a couple episodes left here, people, and it's been a great season. So we appreciate the support here. Like we said last week, the last couple of weeks, we've been having some great views there along the way. Tune in at Far End of the Bench on their channel, as well as at Variety Sports Network, as well as me on Twitter at Fatboy Fadeaway Sports. So we'll finish it up here at that. We got Tyler McGurk with it. He's going to bring it with it. Tyler, you've probably been on pins and needles so far here, my friend. So what do you think, Lions, Jimmy, they get up 24-7. Is it that Campbell going for fourth down? Was that the changing point, in your opinion? Reynolds did drop the ball. He's now dropped two balls that have mattered now, the other one on third down here late in the third quarter. Do you think that was the kind of the changing momentum point, though?
I don't have a argument. That wasn't me who tweeted that on our account. I can see his point where you at some point you need – it's a race to 30, and I think they said that was a direct quote from their meetings. Oh, shit. Okay, he caught it. Oh, that was almost a terrible interception. Tyler almost just became the luckiest man alive, but Jameson Williams came down with it. There's been some wild plays. I can't think of what I'm thinking of what I was going to say. I think what the Lions have done to the Niners so far, like they've taken the risks that they needed to take. They know what's strong against them. Their interior offensive line is having a hell of a game again. They're running the ball the way that they need to. I just think as they break another big run, you just have to keep playing that way. I mean, that's what got him to the dance. You don't change it right now. You don't all of a sudden have a philosophy switch in the NFC Championship game. It just doesn't bode well. It's the team that sticks to their identity, plays good enough defense, just good enough defense that you don't give up touchdowns all the time, and your running game is going to milk the clock. You're going to move the football. You're going to put yourself in positions to score. I think they've had, if they were being honest with themselves, they've had a less than stellar performance rushing the passer just because they get to him a lot and he's able to escape. I know that he's kind of wiry back there. He's dodgy, but you got to get him on the ground. You're losing control of this game because you're letting the 49ers be a good team. Good teams don't just get put down. You have to put them down. They're not just going to go away because, you scored 21 points in that first half. That's cute. They've been in this situation. They've been in this game, I think, 3 out of the last 4 years or something wild like that. This is a good 4 out of 5. This is a good football team that has a chance to go back to a Super Bowl, and against the Chiefs, who knows what's going to happen. But Detroit just needs to, you have to convert on the plays on the risks that you take, but you have to continue to be you. So I don't think that it's not a stupid call. I'm not going to sit there and say that he screwed them over because he's taking a shot that in my mind, I think they have to take.
You got the fumble up here on the screen. You were kind of talking about a big turning point. They had that bad exchange between running back there and quarterback. I gave them the ball back even with more momentum. Got a couple comments in here. This game is why football is so much fun with no dog in the race, but completely entertaining, no doubt about it. Thank you, Tyler. Appreciate it. Hopefully you get a good finish here. Feel free to keep commenting in here. Would love it to get it with the turnover there with it. We'll get the highlights up here on the screen as they continue to come in. Like I said, not over yet. Lions driving with the ball. Looks like they're on the other side on the Niners side of the ball field here. Looks like they might be getting into field goal range. We'll see if Campbell will take that. Like I said, I still think that was a big part of that game. Obviously, the 2 drops by Reynolds was big as well. And then I had it up on that screen as well there, Jimmy. That crazy Ayuk catch off the face mask. I mean, that was like, what was that? I mean, 51 yards on something like that. You can't expect that. That's crazy.
There's been a couple of things that have happened today where you're just like, it's weird because as you can see by my get up and our person that's normally here that's not Jordan would attest to this. It's weird for me not having a game to be ready for today. I know you're not used to this, Daren, as a Raiders fan, but the Bengals are always in the AFC Championship. So not having a game to prepare for today, it's weird. But I've been able to enjoy things. I took a nap during the first game because the Ravens were looking like crap. It wasn't necessarily all that entertaining. I was like, yeah, I'm good. That was the catch that I just saw.
That's the awesome catch. Try to get that on the screen. Look forward to my breakdown of the Chiefs game here in a second, then, folks. Well, no, we'll get into that too here in just a little bit here. When we got the Niners 24-27. What do you got, Jimmy, on the screen there with it?
Commercial right now, but that Jameson Williams, whatever happens with this Lions team, I think that they expect to win, which they're playing like it. They're not playing not to lose. But whatever happens tonight is just icing on the cake because if you make the correct adjustments, if you do the right things in the offseason, they're young enough and their talent is starting to bloom at the right time. This could be a very good team in the NFC for a couple of years moving forward. They could push themselves past the Cowboys into that realm of the 49ers. I don't think this is one year and done.
Even if you're up 24-7, that doesn't sting. I mean, that does leave a little bit of a different taste, right?
I mean, you're up 24-7 on the number 1 seed in their place. The NFL, there's no blowouts in the NFL, especially not in the NFL playoffs. That doesn't happen all that often.
I hear you. So we'll see our Lions 30-10 now with the ball 4th and 3. They go. Looks like they'll have a 4th and 3 here. We'll see what Campbell does. Jimmy, keep us updated on that if they end up going for it or the field goal. Let us set us up for that one here as they kind of get to that 4th and 3 call here. And that's where Campbell, we talked about that last week leading into this game. That was, I think we both said that, like, it'll be interesting what Campbell does in these situations that could help his team or hurt his team in that one. It obviously hurt when they didn't go for it. He gets it here. They score on the score. They take the lead. Maybe this comes back to benefit him. So we'll see what happens here on a 4th and 3. What he decides. Does he go for the tie? Does he go for the go for the lead here? So we'll see. This is that Dan Campbell thing here. So I don't know. These are the moments we were talking about.
Yeah, you're a little bit ahead of me. So I just saw the play that made it 4th and 3. We'll see what goes on here. I can give you a taste of my old play-by-play guy. They're getting ready to break the huddle. But this has been, if nothing else, I'm glad that we're getting this exciting of a game.
Oh, yeah.
This is what we were hoping for in the playoffs, is the best teams to play against each other, and I think that's what we're seeing. Say what you want about the way the AFC Championship game went. Here we go. Empty gun. Goff takes a snap, getting pressured, rolled out right, down the field, and kind of just falls in the middle of nobody. That's not good for them.
Not good for them at all. Now so it goes back to the Niners here. The Niners starting to look a little bit stronger here. Why wouldn't you go? And that's what we just said. We're just talking about this. The Lions fans, C. Henry, are you out there? We got to send that to him on Twitter here and out there. We got to get that to him out there. Come on, C. Head, respond to your out. We got to get this. We got to get your takes on this right now. What's going on? You talked about Dan being too aggressive. This is what he was talking about, right? This is what he was talking about. In time, take the points. And I know it's worked for him, but I don't know. To me, that's going to be something you're going to.
They normally have a way better play call than that. I don't understand what that whole thing from the very beginning kind of seemed doomed.
Now, so as the Niners are kind of going on here with it, we'll get to as anything happens with it, we'll kind of keep
play defense.
We'll kind of keep bringing it up here with it. We'll see if the Lions can make a play. Like I said, we got about 7:32 left in the game. Niners now have the ball because of the Lions' aggressiveness there. A lot of people chiming in on Twitter, not happy with Big Dan, not a big fan of what his decision was so far. So we'll see. Like I said, if they come back and win, maybe the heat's a little different, but we'll see what's happened. Questionable, exactly. My guy, that's my sports. Definitely questionable out there. Somebody got a tail day the winner goes to the Super Bowl. It's Madden. This is Madden. You just stay full throttle, I guess, apparently. I don't know what it is.
I'm getting to the point. I'll just turn the game off. If it gets to 2 minutes and I'm still down, I'll just turn the game off. Shit.
We're going to do that at that point. So we'll see where he goes. The Niners, and this is what their excellence is kind of – this is like their hunger. And for me, what changed for them, I don't know if you picked up the same thing, was those early second half plays to Samuel, those energy play. He was running pretty desperate. Let's just put it that way. Like, those are some desperate runs he had and what we call angry runs, people. So that was like, and I thought he set the tempo a little bit for them. And then obviously you get those lucky kind of, that is a lucky catch with IU. Obviously talented, but that's kind of a big part of it there with it too. So we'll see if the Lions can make a play, as you've been saying here, on defense, and kind of get the ball back, give Goff one more chance here. Or if the Niners score, they can kind of put this game away, and they see City next week in Vegas.
Unless it's just a field goal, anything other than a field goal, this game's over. Because the way that they're working the clock, they have under 6 minutes to go, and it's Christian McCaffrey. Christian McCaffrey in the backfield. They're just leaning on him right now. Yeah.
What did you think
if
of
they
that?
If they weren't gonna run back San Francisco and Baltimore, Kansas City and San Francisco might as well work.
Man, Laporta's a beast though for Detroit. What a beast tight end he is, man.
He's probably going to be the next version of Kelsey. Kelsey's starting to get older. Laporta's that guy at the tight end position. It's not Andrews. It's not anybody else Sam Laporta. He's number one tight end when Travis Kelsey's no longer playing in the NFL.
I mean, we got that. Now we got 3rd and 4 here. My goodness. So we got a lot coming up here. There's a big play here coming up here in a few minutes here at the Niners. See if they can get.
Come on, Purdy, man. Put it in the defense's hand.
The script. A lot of people like that script. Did they have that little script thing at the beginning of the year? I saw that. I think that was part of their introduction there in the NFL. All right.
I think that Taylor was supposed to have broken up with Travis at this point, though. Debo in the backfield, motion, Pickens across. Purdy with the shotgun snap, steps up in the pocket. He is chased after, escapes, breaks 3. Oh, he's into the open field. First down. He's in field goal range. He might have just won this, sent the San Francisco 49ers to the Super Bowl with that play.
I'm going to get it up on the screen here in just a second.
That's his John Elway helicopter moment. That's because it's 3rd and 4. He's right at midfield.
Yep.
Escapes where there shouldn't be a way for him to. I don't know how, as an NFL NFL linebacker, if I just got crossed up by Brock Purdy like that, like Anzalone just did, I would quit.
Brock Jackson. Sorry.
Brock Jackson, yeah. This running back knows how to throw, though, John. I don't know if you heard the podcast earlier, but Lamar Jackson doesn't know how to throw.
We'll get to that.
Son of a bitch. Now McCaffrey's doing what McCaffrey does. I just had flashbacks to my high school of seeing him run down the sideline. No. There's nothing anybody can do.
Niners in great position right now, 1st and goal.
Lions, thanks for coming out.
A chance to break Detroit's heart, or does Detroit get a big play here? Is there some sort of defensive miracle here? This is their last.
I'm telling you, if it's a touchdown, there's nothing the Lions can do about that.
I have a feeling that you were right in that regard. That might be the case, and I'm going to stand on it. It's like a good teacher taking notes. That play was the turning point. You can't go for it when you can extend it to 3 possessions.
But it's also, look at the teams that have experience in these situations. The Lions have made some plays where you're like, that shouldn't have worked, but that was pretty decent. The way that the Chiefs, like that diving play to Kelsey on 3rd down early in the first half for the Chiefs game, there's been a couple of times where Purdy's done something. I mean, just what he just did. The teams that have been in the playoffs before, that have been in this round of the playoffs, are making those extra plays. They'll throw to Juszczyk on the sidelines. Normally nobody's there, but Juszczyk just happened to be standing there. The 11-yard completion to Ayuk to start the day off. You're not only good, but you put yourself in positions to be lucky. And that's what these two teams are taking advantage of. And that's why the Lions are here where they are, because they're trying to force their luck. That's what Dan Campbell doesn't understand. The deck was hot. The deck was hot. You were up 24-7 in the first half. Walk away. Like, you need to look at your spotter. I don't know if you've seen 21 with Kevin Spacey, but you put the arms behind the chair. Like, okay, walk away from the table. We got to find a new deck. And he's like, nope.
We're done.
Boom, boom. And now you're not going to graduate from MIT, get into Harvard Medical School. I don't know what to tell you.
You're out, just like that. What did you saw? Mitchell's got the touchdown right there as well, right there. So that's
you're talking 24-34, 10-point game with 3:02 left. It would be a hell of a story for Lions fans.
See, Henry, I'm sorry, man. This is and that's what's tough when you're.
It's been a rough week. You lose Harbaugh, they lose in the playoffs same week.
It's tough when you have it like that. We got a guy, Jordan Maxson, jumping on here with it as he's been as we got the Lions and the Niners finishing up here. Jordan, the Niners come back, man. Looks like looks like this one's all but over. What a second half by a desperate. That was a team that was just more desperate. It just felt like it was like we're life is on the line. Like that's kind of what it felt like then with them. So, what's your thought of that second half run there by the Niners right there to give them a 10-point lead?
Detroit just kind of crumbled, and they kind of called themselves out of the game here. Dan Campbell, he's been aggressive all season, but you didn't really see that last week. You saw him kind of take the points, so I'm kind of shocked that he kind of reverted back to just trying to be overly aggressive. I mean, it would have been a 27-27 game. You kick the ball off, your defense maybe produces a turnover or 3 and out. But, you give him the ball back with a short field and no momentum on your side. I think he coached himself out of this one.
And it was interesting. He almost wanted to go for it at the end of halftime. Like, he wanted to go for it at every level. And so, like, it's funny watching. Like, I remember this, you just don't have coaches that usually are just this insanely aggressive in an NFC Championship game where when we have somebody, doesn't he realize that we're playing for the Super Bowl? Yes, exactly. Don't you realize that, Dan, a little bit? We are playing for the Super Bowl. So, I've just been really impressed with the Niners here and the way they stayed calm with it. And the defense finally stepped up, but Mr. Reynolds helped with a couple big drops. He dropped a couple big passes for the Lions.
This defense had lost their identity. That was the thing, because even down the stretch of the season, they didn't play well. And they don't play their starters, and last week was rough. Detroit followed Green Bay's game plan to a T. Basically the same exact thing that they did. They were going to get up. They built up a lead because they were able to run right at the heart of the defense, and the 49ers could do jack shit about it. And then all of a sudden, at some point, Brock Purdy becomes Joe Montana reincarnated and has these scrambles and these drives and these series that he puts together. And then all of a sudden you look up, we haven't scored since halftime, and now they're ahead of us. Not only are they ahead of us, they've now made it a 2-score game. All in the midst of us blinking in an eye. And it's not even like we played bad. No. There's been certain moments where you're like, a Super Bowl team would make that play. Yeah. And that's been the difference. The 49ers are that Super Bowl team making those plays, and the Lions are doing their damnness. They got 3 timeouts, never say die attitude, Dan Campbell on the sidelines, but now that's going to be the question for them. It's going to be disappointing because now they have to have the conversation, is Dan Campbell the coach of this team in the future? Because it's very clear that talent right now is good. It's almost like you want to flip and put now I can't think of because it's not Callahan, but what's Brian Johnson, put Brian Johnson as your head coach because he's going to walk out and there's nobody better for your offense. You're like, don't leave. Dan will be fired. You be head coach. How do you feel about that? Let's do something like that. I know it's never going to happen, but Detroit's they're going to have a conversation on their hands.
They definitely will have to because, like I said, kind of like we had those conversations about the Chargers guy. I know a lot different in the effort and stuff like that. But when you get to games like this and when you start to get to a better team and then you have a game like this next year, if they don't end up coming back here, like you go 8-8 or something like that, or 9-8, whatever, that kind of changes that mentality a little bit. Like, that's why I'm like, when you're in the NFL and you have a chance, I just don't believe in this next year thing. I know it happens. I know that you get dynasties, but it's so hard to come by it. Like you said, even your Bengals, right? You get hurt and now you just have to keep waiting. You're probably going to be back.
Back-to-back AFC championships, back-to-back North champions.
You were, but now you're not this year. That's what I'm saying. You can't take it for
year.
granted every year. You can't take it for granted every year as a fan. So every opportunity, you don't want to lose that one. So, like we said, 2-minute warning here. Lions have the ball. Looks like at midfield. Obviously, that'd be funny if he goes for a field goal early to do the onside kick. Total opposite. All right, so he goes like with it. So Lions, we'll see if we finish it up there with it. Jimmy, keep us updated with that, and we'll kind of go right to that game. Breaking news.
My update as of now is be humble, sit down. That's what I'm getting out of our conversation. The Lions should have been humble, and they should have sat down when they had the chance. Should have just shut things down and played the game the right way. But no, they had to try and get fancy with it.
So as we kind of end up, I want to go back to the Lions. I know we're going to go to them in just a second when this game ends, when we get to the preview. So I just want to touch on this game too, real quick. With it is the Ravens Chiefs as well. Is this game like the Chiefs again? Just the magic, Jimmy. They find a way. They get off to a good start there, up 14-7, and they end up Kelsey and Mahomes find a way. Ravens don't get it done. Division, you guys are happy about that.
I'm feeling 22.
My goodness, Jimmy. The Chiefs do it again. They're in there. They're in the dance again.
They are in the dance again. Everybody's gonna have to deal with Taylor Swift being on the Super Bowl now. That was Nico. All the 20 minutes of the podcast. I just don't want to see it. You're gonna see it because guess what? These Ravens, they love blowing this number one seed thing. They love losing games at the bank. It's the opposite of the Phillies. You always want to go to the bank. Play at the bank. Play the Ravens at the bank in the playoffs and see what happens. It's going to go great for you. They were trying everything they could to like get in the Chiefs' head. The Chiefs were very businesslike about it. Didn't play that game, and I think that's the difference.
Really?
Yeah, I mean,
messing with Justin Tucker's gear before the game and
okay,
him on all that situation.
They were never overly aggressive the way that the Ravens were.
Come on, Jimmy.
They were never overly aggressive. The Ravens got out of their game. They tried to play a little bit too much, hero ball, and the Chiefs were able to just do what they needed to. 17-10. They didn't have to do much. That defense is legit. I don't know what to say. And Lamar Jackson, as good as he played up until this point, had another game where you're like, dude, you cannot throw the football.
He changed his whole style for that game. I mean, he went from being a scrambler, making smart, quick throws to hanging back in the pocket for 4, 5, 6+ seconds, and launching it into triple coverage there at the end of the game. That's not Lamar ball. That's not Ravens ball. The Ravens try to change their identity in one night. Ravens are known for a tough defense, tough run game, efficient run game with the quarterback. That's how they've been playing for the last 2 or 3 seasons. They went to try to change their whole identity and go to the shotgun, 5-out wide receivers, deep throws, deep passes. It just didn't really kind of use the tight ends the way they used to. Didn't really use the running back room like they used to all year long. I mean, it to me, it's like they were like, what got us here? Crumble it up, throw it in the trash can. Let's be something we're not. And they tried to be in a high explosive, passing efficient offense, and that's not their identity.
And I had the play up there where they got sacked right there. They were already down by 7 points. To get that Lions just kind of want to keep you up there on that 3rd and goal here. As they get close, we'll see if Dan takes the field goal. If he gets the 4th down, my guess is they'll just go for it. But we'll see what happens there. And so Lions will keep you updated on that if they get a touchdown here. With that, they're still driving there. With it, like we said, the one thing too with the Chiefs is like they're just like one of these championship aura teams where they really know how to win. They don't get pressured in any situation. Mahomes is so calm. Even that play at the end of the game, that little lob play out to the receiver just down the field, like just casual about it, like that. And just I don't know. It's impressive to me. It's frustrating as somebody that has them in their division, but it is also impressive, just like it became impressive with the Patriots at the same time, that these teams that are good teams just can't overcome them in big games. Like we said it 2 weeks ago, this is the Bills' chance. This is the Ravens' chance. They got it. And then all of a sudden, no, they don't have it. They do not have it. So I don't know. Just kind of it was just interesting how the Chiefs again advance like that. And then as we get to 4th and goal, it looks like it here with the Lions.
It looks like the Lions have conceded because they just took their first time out. They're just going to try and get some pity points, and that's about it.
do that, and then go for the onside kicks here, see if they get anything down. Then we'll get the preview of that as well here at the.
If
What
an
do you guys think?
onside kick is your strategy, you have like less than a 3% chance of it being successful right now.
Not looking good. Not looking good for him at all with it. So that's our update right there. I'll have that on the bottom ticker here. Continue to follow us here. Talking the gridiron as you're kind of following along with the Niners, Lions. Appreciate you guys checking out the show with us here. Wrapping up close to season 2 here on Talking the Gridiron. We're talking Ravens, Chiefs here as we got Lions, Niners going. It looks like the Lions just got in the end zone, by the way, here past to Williams to make it 31-34 now with 56 seconds left. So we'll see what happens.
Go for 2.
Go for 2. Hey, it looks
You
better.
won't. You
What was the
won't.
spread? What was the spread? 3.5, 7, and 6.5. What was that? It probably was.
I didn't write it down before Nico and I
That's good.
made our
Nico, where
picks.
are you, Nico? What was the spread? We need you on it. Sunday night update with it. So 34-31, like we said, on there. The Niners just need to recover the ball. Lions do have timeouts, 2 timeouts left, but that's not going to be enough to get the job done there with it. So back to the Chiefs here as we kind of finish that up with it. Kelsey, pretty crazy passes. Jerry Rice for most receptions there in postseason history. Best tight end ever there, Jordan.
No.
Okay.
I think that you look at tight ends that played in a much tougher era. I'm not taking anything away from Kelsey's talent. Absolutely phenomenal. Definitely on the Mount Rushmore, but best ever. I can't come to think of it like that, especially with tight ends in the past that have played a much more physical NFL where defenses were a lot more physical, a lot less rules, a lot less pass interference, a lot less flags. We're in a very pass, probably the most points that's been scored in the last decade or so this season. The NFL as a whole, we're in a very offensive minded league where defense is kind of a secondary thought, and that's even kind of the way the coaching hires went. If you kind of look across the board this season, so I can't put him as the best ever. He definitely has my respect. There's no doubt about it. He's one of the most talented, but there's I can't put him because I don't know. You look at tight ends.
Jerry Rice, that's pretty good. Jerry Rice, not bad.
Didn't he play for some sorry franchise? Who's this Jerry Rice guy?
Who's this Jerry Rice?
Jerry Rice fella. Who is this guy? Hey, I got his.
Wasn't he a bricklayer or something?
It was. I mean, I hear you.
I'm still watching. Let's see. Watch the comment section.
Who is that guy?
Did he go to bed?
Would you guys consider him the best ever? And who would you consider the best?
Best receiving threat of his generation, I think, because I would say that
over Antonio Gates.
Yeah, I don't think they're the same generation. I think Antonio Gates bled into Gronk then becoming the best. I mean, Gronk and Aaron Hernandez were the top 2 tight ends for a decent stretch of time. I know that nobody wants to say that, but Gronk does deserve his credit, and I think what he could do in the blocking game kind of pushes him above Kelsey just as an overall tight end. But after that, I mean, over the last the Chiefs dynasty has been in place because Travis Kelce and Patrick Mahomes have this weird chemistry, and he has become the most consistent and reliable, especially postseason target that Mahomes has played with. I mean, he's the only one that's still playing with him from the first part of this run till this end. So I think that he's a very good pass catcher. I wouldn't say that he's the best tight end because tight ends need to block, and he's not a great blocker. He's a quarterback that was converted to tight end. It's not his thing.
That's fair. And I think Gronk to me is up there with just some of his early, but I don't think he's the guy. Kittle
I think might push him a little bit too.
Kittle. I mean, this is a guy that killed my team a ton, and I just thought he was a beast. Was Antonio Gates?
What about Gonzalez?
Yeah, those are the 2 guys I think of as Gates and Gonzalez.
Gonzalez was like Kelsey before Kelsey because Gonzalez couldn't block his way out of a wood paper bag either, and he said as much. He said, "I'm going to be pretty after football. I don't need to be busting my face up like that. I'm going to be the pretty boy after I'm done scoring all these touchdowns, and I'm going to be a telenovela star or whatever he ended up doing." Yeah, they didn't get it.
Gentlemen, breaking news here it is on the screen there.
Greg
The
Kittle.
Niners. Niners end up recovering.
Greg.
We got a Super Bowl here, talking the gridiron. We've made it all the way through on live here. We got it. We got a Super Bowl, and we're all red again, like we were a few years ago in Miami. Now we're going to the West Coast with it, and it's going to be Niners and Chiefs again. If you're joining us here on Talking the Gridiron, as the Niners have come back to defeat the Lions.
Is this what Kyle Shanahan wants, or did Kyle Shanahan not want to have this whole narrative of the repeat, the refresh? Is it going to happen again? Is he going to have a lead and then blow it in the fourth quarter like he does? He tends to do. He does tend to do these things.
And this would be again against the Chiefs too. Andy Reid, a second chance. Breaking news, Jimmy. Biggest takeaway from this live, as people might be joining us here. We got more people joining in here on the show. We've kind of might be talked on it a little bit earlier, but let's join it again with people that are fresh to the show. Biggest takeaway from this Lions-Niners win, and the Niners advancing to play the Chiefs in the Super Bowl.
I think that this is a game that shows the Niners are back to one of those dangerous teams. What everybody said about them all season, where they're the contender, they're representing the NFC now in the Super Bowl. But I think I made the prediction all the way back at the beginning of the season they were going to be in their Super Bowl, and I'm sure I'm not alone in that. They're back to playing at that level because it did. They took a couple weeks at the end of the season, the week that they didn't play their starters, then the bye week. Last week I was nervous. This week I think showed, it's not perfect. You would like it to be a little bit tightened up, button it up a little bit more, and against Patrick Mahomes, you know it has to be buttoned up. But your defense seemed to figure themselves out. You did not surrender a point in the second half, besides that last touchdown in garbage time. And then all you needed to do was recover the onside kick. I would feel pretty confident as a 49ers fan. And as a Lions fan, this is disappointing because everybody's going to sit there. And, yes, I do agree with that there is a difference between an experienced one and an inexperienced one. But everybody's going to sit here, and I don't want it to be lost. Like, I don't want everybody to just sit here and talk about Dan Campbell. It's what happened in the game that I wasn't here to talk about with the crew when I was on the cruise and the whole going forward on the 2-point conversions.
Might have blew the game, Jimmy. He might have blew the game.
It doesn't come down to a coach. One decision made, a couple. No.
Then Reynolds blew the game.
They lost by 3 points. They should have took points.
Then Reynolds blew the game.
They should have stopped. They should have been able to stop the defense. I mean, they should have done a lot of things. It doesn't come down to the decisions made that a coach wanted to be aggressive for. I'm not going to sit here and say that he's the reason. You can put him as a part of the reason, but it's not Dan Campbell's. He doesn't deserve the entirety of the blame. He's going to take that because I know that that's the kind of leader that he is. Yeah. If you're going to sit here as a Detroit fan and you're going to complain about this, go fuck yourself, dude. Go fuck yourself. Think about where you were 3 years ago after Matt Patricia. If you're going to sit here and be a spoiled rat now, kiss the city of Detroit's ass. Eminem will gladly kick you on the way out the door. This is stupid. If we're gonna have this conversation this year, it's gonna be stupid. Next year, he loses that card to play. But think about where it was 3 years ago when Dan Campbell was hired.
He gets a little leeway. That's fair.
This is a win for Detroit both ways. I mean,
yes.
Without a doubt, organizationally speaking, this game's gonna hurt. It's definitely going to be a big black eye. A lot of people are going to bring up the coaching first thing when the clock hits 0. But at the end of the day, the organization has nothing to be sad about. Just like Jimmy said, look where they were to where they are, and they have they have one of the youngest rosters besides Green Bay in the NFL. They're stacked with rookies that overexceeded. They have one of the better tight ends in the league coming into year one. They have one of the best offensive lines in the league. They have a rookie running back that hit 1,000 yards. They have a veteran running back that hit 1,000 yards. They have a lot of things to look forward to. So definitely, Detroit's got to take it for what it is and definitely build on it. They still have some chip pieces to move around. They still have some cap space. They can definitely bring in some more weapons defensively. Detroit's got a lot to be happy about. Nobody's going to be on a hot seat where the 49ers lost. They've been here before. The conversation is completely different. But Detroit, it's going to sting, but moving forward. There's no other team in NFL that's more front loaded to continue winning at a high level right now, other than probably Green Bay and a couple other squads that did probably some success. But
yeah, especially until the 90s have to pay Purdy. We got somebody in here, Nico. No, just kidding. But Nico Bryant in here. Lions left 6 points on the board, lost the game. Niners balled out in the second half, but you cannot lose a 17-point lead at halftime. And you had the ball in field goal range 4 different times in the second half and lost a colossal meltdown. I think, like you said, Jimmy, to your point, he does get the benefit of the doubt because of what he's built up. I do think he should take some proper heat for this game, though, and then we'll see how that translates into next year. But I also got to – but like I said, you got to say the players. Reynolds catch the ball 2 times, and maybe Mr. Campbell's not on the hot seat. So there is that part as well. What Jimmy's mentioned, he's like, if your players perform and they do the job, he went for it. I mean, what are you asking? He's right there. Catch the ball. It's there. I have it on the screen here. Just to got it. This is the kind of Ayuk 20. This made it 24-17 on the screen there. The night Ayuk played a pretty good game there in the second half as well. Like I said, Jordan, before you joined, I thought Debo was to start the second half. He just had that mentality where I was like, oh boy, the Lions better look out. And then that fumble was the killer as well. So now we get So as we kind of move in, we're talking about the Chiefs. We talked about the Ravens here.
You got to give it to Brock Purdy, his mobility in the second half.
That was awesome. He was good.
Off multiple 10+ yard runs.
He was good. I mean, now, especially that one where he rolled out left, and then he threw it. It kind of floated it to the fullback there at the sideline. That was, to me, the craziest play there he made.
Oh, the fullback. I mean, that was beautiful. Tiptoes.
I wish we could all start with like 4 all-pros surrounding us, like the best people to do their job that help you out directly. I wish that would they should do that for every profession, teaching, military. Just put like 4 of the best of what they can do that will directly influence you, and see how well everybody starts doing. Because come on now. Nobody.
There were a couple good runs he had out of the pocket, I thought.
No, but here's my thing. I don't know how he got this chance. It's a random. This is the one universe that Kyle Shanahan decided to take that pick. How did he get this? Nobody. Iowa State. Nobody saw this. There's not a scout that can sit there that said they were scouring film in the basement that said, oh, Brock Purdy's going to be able to lead his team to back-to-back NFC championships. And when he plays, he makes the plays to win them that game. That's not no scout is going to sit. If somebody sits there and tells you that, I think that they're lying to your face, because this should not be happening. Yet here we are, because he has all of this talent around him, and they're getting the luck. They're getting the luck that they need.
What a throw.
You cannot apologize for games that you win. You cannot apologize for plays that you make. You cannot apologize for being lucky. Sometimes it's better to be lucky than good.
That is amen to that, man. That is the truth of that one. That was the lucky play of them all. And that kept the momentum going there, middle of the third there. That just
reminds me of that stupid Georgia, was it Georgia Auburn, the Cam Newton season? Yeah.
You know that theory where they say the cornerbacks aren't wide receivers and stuff, and sometimes I'm always like, that's a little harsh on the cornerbacks half the time. But to their credit, wide receivers don't get hit in the face too often, in the face matchman too often. So there's maybe a little bit more truth to that. I thought
that ball's coming right at my face. Should I put my hands up? Nah.
He helped him up, and the Lions got a couple bad breaks. They had that a little bit. They also, they had the fumble there. So there's just a few things that kind of just didn't go their way there in the second half.
You look at Anquan Bolden's injury when he was in Arizona. Sometimes they do get hit in the face.
That is true. Yes, they do get in the face on that one too. I just thought that fumble was a big play in that fourth down there. I think those were the 2 big ones there, and of course Ayuk's play there with it. I don't know. We'll see. I like your boy Nico also from your Twitter account, but I had to bookmark it. Your team's first Super Bowl in history on the line, Dan. Please take some points. He was tweeting that out this week. Nico out there at the far end of the bench. You guys had a good show this week too. So based on his comments, he wanted Dan to take the points a few times, and Dan let him down today, just like he let it. So we'll see.
There must have been some money wagered that he's a little bit upset about, because that's what he said that happened to him with the Bills last week.
somebody was asking me like it was like, so how could you ever get into betting? I was like, I remember for like a couple months I kind of did because I just kind of started. You put me on the line, you're interested. So like I can't believe like how you can like these random teams. I'm like, you put money on the Tampa Bay Lightning for a week, you'll know everything about them. You'll know, like it doesn't matter that
This is Nikita Kucherov. He's Russian. He's actually best friends with Vladimir Putin, and he gets Putin's black card when he decides to go back to Europe for the All-Star break. This is
see, you know that knowledge right there. See, I would have learned that if
by the way, for those gamblers out there that didn't know, you should follow at FEOTB Pod because I tweeted it right before the bets would have closed. Every game that Greg Olson called for the Lions this year ended in a loss. Every single one. I think it was like 3 or 4, which it doesn't seem like a lot, but 3 or 4 times that you're the national, because that Greg Olson's the A guy for Fox right now until Brady decides that he wants to walk into that contract. That's 4 games that you know for a fact. You should have bet against the Detroit Lions. You should have bet that the Lions were going to lose if Greg Olson was on the call. These are things that you got to pay attention. If you're going to be a degenerate gambler, you have to know the degenerate side of social media.
And I love it because your pod, you guys always get into those conversations.
We had a sponsor for a while, and when we had that sponsor, we were having to come up. Nico would come up with these parlays, and he was passing them off as Bula's parlays. So they had to be wild and outlandish like that, and they were most of the time. I think he said that he was over. We were doing some. I can't remember what we called it. It was something to do with skiing. Oh, ride the slope or something like that. And nobody should have rode that slope. If you rode that slope, you were getting your skis were
dead off the rails.
If you pizza when you should have French fried, you're gonna have a bad time.
Skiing, what's that? I don't even know what skiing is out here. So I can go Lake Tahoe though, people. I can go out there. All right, so we got breaking news with it. Like we said, Niners just about 10 minutes ago wrap it up against the Lions. They advanced to Super Bowl 58. Had a lot of people here in the chat.
The Bartolos don't own the 49ers anymore. Where have I been?
What'd you say? The Yorks own them.
I know the Bartolo family. I thought they owned them for.
The Yorks have owned them for a long time now. Believe it or not, the York family they've owned it for probably over during those bad years too, even before Frank Gore. I think they were the ones that hired.
They were the ones that took over right after the DeBartolo.
Yep, exactly.
I didn't realize the DeBartolo sold that long ago. Damn.
Yep, no, they were quite a while ago with it. So like I said, Lions they go down to the Niners here. Great season, but there will definitely be some money. What do you call it? Cooler talk there. Little Monday cooler talk there in the office there about this game involving some of the plays they went with. We talked about the Chiefs. They advancing against the Ravens here, and Lamar Jackson, Kelsey, he ends up breaking that record there that Rice had with it. Hey, real quick here before we kind of move on to our fourth quarter of the pod here. What's next for Baltimore? Just kind of a quick thing. I don't want to go forever on this team, but just maybe quick little side note as we put them to bed. Jordan, maybe if you got a minute on them, just John Harbaugh, Lamar Jackson, they just stay the same? They make any changes? Was it as simple as Andrews wasn't there?
I don't think they make too many changes. I definitely think they get younger on the defensive line. I think some of the aging veterans are going to depart. Clowney and company were only on 1-year contracts, so I think they get younger. I think they get more speed on a defensive line, but not too many offensive changes besides get healthy in the backfield. Whether some of the running backs that are coming off of some serious injuries yet again for the second or third time in a row. Maybe they draft some younger running backs in and kind of get younger in the backfield too. But I think besides those changes, they don't do too much. I think front office stays the same. Quarterback, obviously, they're tied into a big contract. I think that's going to stay the same moving forward. But I don't think you're going to see too many personnel changes besides a younger backfield and a younger defensive line.
Jimmy, just wait their turn basically till the Chiefs just make a mistake. Is that what they're going to do? I mean, they had a better season. The receivers were better. They did a better job during the regular season, but just come crunch time, Lamar couldn't get it done, and the Ravens couldn't get it done.
I don't think it's a wait their turn because there's no team that appreciates their perceived ability of drafting and developing like the Baltimore Ravens. That's been like their thing since they've come back. Is they know how to identify the next stud and they're going to draft them. All the way back to Lewis and everything like that. So I think they're going to probably think that they're going to win with their scouting, their work at the combine, their work at the draft. there's in the most competitive division, and they're in a division that everybody kind of stays the same. So yeah, they're not going to do too much. There's not going to be any major free agency or anything like that. They'll draft, they'll develop, they'll get younger, they'll flush out when they don't need to. I honestly don't know what's going to go on with Harbaugh. I don't think that he's done anything to cost him his job. But the thing about NFL franchises is that when you've been there for so long and you've done just up to a certain level, at some point there's got to be at some point your message does go stale. At some point, these professional athletes being paid millions of dollars that are supposed to do everything that you ask them of doing, at some point it might just go a little bit off. I've heard this a million times before. If I do it, if I don't, it's not going to make a difference. Maybe it's time to look at a different personality there, but it's going to be I don't expect or assume any change like that coming in the near future.
How much was Harbaugh probably rooting for the Bills last week? And that game secretly against that. We want to play the Bills with that one there. So the Ravens onto the offseason there. Bengals fans here, they're not too concerned about you. But we got to give you a little love as we go out. Like we said, Air Lions, Niners joining us here with it. All right, let me get to our final thing here with it. We wrap it up. Who you got? Pro Bowl? No, I'm just kidding. All right, no, who you got? Super Bowl 58, Kansas City Chiefs versus those San Francisco 49ers. Obviously, you don't have to hold yourself to this prediction, but just kind of initial hunch as we kind of talk about it here. I get it up on the screen. Kind of initial thoughts of this matchup here, Jimmy, as we kind of touched on a little bit earlier, but now as we're kind of settling in a little bit on the game ending here, what's your kind of thoughts here of the game? CBS, Tony Romo, you'll be doing it for us.
I'm not happy about that at all. I'm hoping that I get a couple beers in me and I'm not going to be paying attention too much to what he's going to say. I am intrigued by this matchup because it's what it always comes down to. Who's going to win in the trenches? I think that these are two pretty evenly matched teams up front. I think the Chiefs' offensive line is definitely worse than the 49ers' offensive line. I think that's one area where they struggle. But the defensive lines, they got Chris Jones, got Nick Bosa, Eric Armstead, guys that can play well on both sides. It's that middle of the defense where Kansas City's been getting banged up that kind of gives me some worry because the 49ers, outside of a couple like Hufanga, they're pretty healthy on the defensive side of the ball, and they're physical. That was one thing, 49ers made sure that the Chiefs knew they were playing against them. You got to be able to get pressure on Mahomes. You got to keep him in the pocket, rush to the outside lanes. I don't know how all of these coaches get paid millions and millions of dollars, and they have these fancy facilities, a capability of watching any game that they want all the way back, all throughout history. Yet they continue to try and rush Patrick Mahomes without keeping somebody on the outside for their rush lane.
We'll see. Bosa's good matchup. We have Young, who's kind of been a little bit of a flop after that. I'm not saying he's been, but he hasn't been number two pick worthy. I know out of Ohio State there, but he hasn't had.
It's a waste of a pick. He's a waste of a pick. You don't have to sugarcoat it there.
All right, we'll go with it right there.
He's a waste.
Ohio State sucks.
He had a couple big tackles for loss here in the second half.
He also got juked a couple times to do that and roll it out there as well. So he had kind of an up and down game there with it. Jordan, your kind of initial thoughts when you think of this matchup again in Las Vegas? Chiefs have been obviously played at that stadium many times. Niners played there obviously as well. Should be a good one. Niners don't have to travel, I guess, quite as far, but whatever, it is what it is. We'll see a lot of red out there in the back.
I think it's more of a Chiefs home game. Definitely being a division rival building.
How does that make you feel, Darren? Chiefs home game in your building.
I would think the Niners would travel better in this situation.
I think
don't think that. Go ahead, Jordan.
Going there. I mean, you got to think it's it's on the schedule every year.
I mean, it's an hour flight from where we live.
It's
an hour flight.
Is Brian going? Is Brian going to go to this one?
Brian, come on, you're out there. The post office is paying you better. They should allow you to go to this game. You shouldn't be allowed to go to this one. Come on.
I think it's going to be a good. I think it's going to be a good chess match. I think you got two coaching staffs that are well seasoned, especially when it comes to postseason play.
Yeah,
I like the 49ers defensive line over the Chiefs offensive line. Obviously, they have the most penalized left tackle in the league. He's kind of slow off the ball, not very light feet. I think you're going to be watching that all day. If I'm Bosa, I'm licking my chops. But it's just if the 49ers aren't that great on the run stops, so they have to control Pacheco, and that I think it's going to be a long day in the trenches. If Kansas City comes out and punches them in the mouth on the ground game, and that's going to open up the passing for them on play action. And the 49ers don't necessarily have the best secondary in the league. That's kind of where they're weakest at. If their pass rush doesn't get there, their corners don't hang on that long. So it's just going to be a back and forth game. I think the 49ers could do it. So my bold prediction would probably be 31-28. I think the 49ers get it done. But I think it's going to be an offensive firework game. I think you're going to see a lot of back and forth.
I think so too. And you're not allowed to change that. No, just kidding. You're allowed to change.
No, that's locked in, baby. Right here tonight.
2-week bet. You'll get more money for it now. All right, we got that one. So Super Bowl, that should be a good one. Like we said, like a lot good into it. There's just so many big stars on this. You have, obviously, we named the lady there that's with it as well, Miss Swift there with it too. So you have that part going on with it too. That'll be involved. The NFL will take good advantage of that.
You think they're going to mention her at all, or is she just going to be allowed to sit there and just enjoy the game?
She's just going to be allowed to get there with it. Tyler McGurk, I'm sure he's out there enjoying this as well. I know you're out there. You're calling me right now on the phone. I'm sorry, I can't answer you at the point. We'll be on about it. We'll be on about another 5 minutes, Tyler. If you want to come on for a minute and gloat, feel free to come on for a minute and gloat. We'll hang on for a second. We're almost at the hour mark here on the show here with it. All right, so yeah, there we go. We got Super Bowl whip matchup with it. 2 weeks. We're gonna probably take next week off. Jimmy, a Sunday off. Wow, Jordan, a Sunday off. We'll enjoy that when we can get it, and then we'll obviously get into the Super Bowl coverage. We'll probably do maybe a preview show like we did last year. We had a good turnout for that, and then do our final episode will be that Monday, February 12th on it. All right, game ball here. I'm going to go game ball, Kelsey, and we've talked about them enough, but that's two I have for it. Just that duo right there, Mahomes, Kelsey, the clutchness of it in a big championship game like that. That's my game ball for the week. Jordan, you got a game ball?
Give me the 49ers defensive line. Back-to-back fourth down stops when it mattered most. So definitely got to tip my cap to that. So,
Jimmy, who do you got?
It's a Colorado guy that beat me up for a long time. Christian McCaffrey, the 2 touchdowns, 4 touchdowns, I believe, over the last 2 weeks. When this team is lost, they know that they can turn around, hand the ball off to 23, and he's going to do something positive with it. So I think Christian McCaffrey, he gets my game ball. He's a huge part of this run. I hope that he gets his credit that he deserves, because he didn't get the credit he deserved in college when he made Stanford relevant. I don't know if he's gotten the credit he deserves so far. If they win, it's going to be partially carried on his back for sure.
And there's got to be a little part of you that wants him to win that Super Bowl for sure out there with
It's more for Kyle Shanahan, you know.
Uh-oh. Hold on, breaking news. We have an arrogant SOB on the line right here. Let's go to Tyler McGurk. Tyler, you got 4 minutes and then you're cut off no matter what. What do you got for us on the Niners here?
We're like this. The rest of the NFL is like this. We are the team. Whoa, I can't wait to take on these Chiefs. They match up well against us as long as we can slow down Mahomes, who is a son of a gun. I give him all the credit in the world. But they do match up well. The offensive line sucks. The right tackle is left tackle. Most penalized guys, like Jordan mentioned before, the left tackle is terrible. Bosa's going to eat. We need Hargrave and Armstead to step up, but Purdy did his thing. He did have a terrible first half. I'll admit, Purdy looked bad for a little bit there, but he made big plays with his legs, and we are rocking. We're ready for the Super Bowl in Las Vegas. We'll be the home team. We will have the majority of the fans there. We're lucky to escape with this win, but I'm stoked to be where we're at.
How happy were you that Dan Campbell went for it on that 4th down? How happy were you?
My God, did he just blow this game? He got on his knees and said, "We're blowing this game tonight, baby."
Cut his mic.
Any students out there, I apologize for that.
Sorry.
Oh, yeah. Tyler, congratulations on the win there,
Thank
sir.
you.
Variety Sports Network. Be sure to tune in to the T&B podcast with out there. We'll see you next week with it. Tyler, glad you could comment in with it. Yes.
Absolutely. I appreciate all three of the work you guys have done. You guys are carrying this network as from where I see it. I appreciate it all. It's all fun and games. Enjoy the Super Bowl, baby.
We'll see you next. We'll see you on the preview for it.
We don't know about the Roman Reigns comment.
No, that wasn't me. That was Brian. I said that.
The Roman Reigns. Yes, that one carried a little bit. Tyler, appreciate you calling it. That's the way we like it here on Variety Sports Network. We have fun with each other with it, making fun with it. Jimmy, Tyler, go back and forth it. He was on our preview show a couple of when we did Chiefs Eagles last year. We'll see if we can get T on again this year with it. We'll have a good preview show with it going forward. All right, gentlemen, we get on the hour mark here with it. That was a good show here. Championship version of it. We'll probably have maybe 2 episodes left, a little preview show, probably a shorter show, and then we'll get to our post-game show. Final episode, February 12th. Be sure, I think John's going to lock in Mike from Out of Your Falcon Mind. So we'll have a big show there, kind of end it there on Monday, February 12th. Jimmy, we've come a long way on this show. We got Jordan with us. I feel like he's kind of stabilized us as third person, but we've had and so it's been fun to have you on, Jordan, with it. But as we get to the Super Bowl, Jimmy, it's fun getting these views with it. Appreciate people coming in. It's been a good ride here. So as we get to the Super Bowl, I appreciate both you guys. Jimmy, obviously, we've been on the 2-year version of it together, so appreciate you, my friend, as always.
Yeah, it's been a lot of fun. It's good when there's good football to talk about, and unfortunately, no Bengals championship. Jordan, I was saying, like, it's weird. This is our day. We normally have this day circled as this is where we punch our ticket, but it didn't happen this year.
You know, they couldn't stop talking about us either. But before he got sacked in the third quarter, they were like, Mahomes hasn't been sacked in a postseason since Sam Hubbard. And
so I heard that.
Can't keep my name out your mouth. Tony.
I was thinking about you. That's hilarious. I was thinking about that when they said that. I was thinking of you guys both with that. So, all right.
You know what Patrick Mahomes really wants to do here, Jim? He wants to score. So he's going to look to get that football from the center. It's what's called a snap. He's going to take that ball. He's going to put his fingers on the laces. He's going to throw it to this receiver as he's trying to run away from this defender that's standing there in his face. And I think they're going to try and score on this play, Jim. Wow, Tony, you are the football IQ that you possess is something that everybody strives for.
Jimmy, your job is to come up with the 5 Romanisms from the Super Bowl. You have to write them down. What are the 5 that stand out to you the most as we're doing it on it? Our guys out here, Demetrius Jeffrey out there, tuned in last week on Out of Your Falcon Mind with it. He was on with John. Appreciate you tuning in this week with it. As well. John not with us this week. He's going to probably be back with us on February 12th. Appreciate your support, though, on the show. That made one of our best shows here on Variety Sports Network. We're just getting ready to wrap up the show, but feel free to tune in anytime. Sundays here about 6:30. We usually talk Falcons as well because we have a big Falcons guys here, so don't be afraid to tune in as well on Talking the Gridiron here anytime. We'll get your comments there on the show. Like Tyler, we'll get you a 1-minute appearance once in a while as well. And just like you predicted last week, sir, you had the Niners and Chiefs. The number 1 seeds, or the number 1 seed in the NFC advances, the number 3 seed are in the AFC advances to the Super Bowl in Las Vegas, February 11th. Jimmy, I don't know about you, but my school gets February 12th off. That's a big deal out here. I get that Monday off.
I think that I get that day off as well. I want to say it might be the state tournament weekend. If I'm being completely honest with myself, so I'll get like a day off of school, but I'll be sitting at the arena, the ball arena downtown at the state wrestling tournament, possibly.
You'll be down there for a while as well. Yes, the tournaments do. They take you away for a few weekends there. If anybody does traveling sports or coaching, you're well. That Mahomes finally get that 3rd ring for the Bronco and Raider fans out here on the West Coast. We are not fans of that one with it. I know the Bengals fans, we don't want to see that as well, but mass respect to him. Appreciate you coming in here, sir. At the end of the show here as we're wrapping it up. Be sure to tune with us. We're going to be back probably around that Thursday and Friday before the Super Bowl. Maybe do a quick preview of the Super Bowl, and then we'll be joining you that Monday for the post game of the Super Bowl here on Talking the Gridiron. Another great show, guys, as always. Appreciate the support. Like I said, everybody tuning in with it. Jimmy, 2 more left in it. All right, so we'll get this done with it. Jordan, 2 more left. Let's rock it. Power through, baby. NFL is almost coming to an end. It's funny, starts up in September, and we're all the way here now to the Super Bowl, believe it or not. So, for Jordan Maxson, for Jimmy Pilato, far into the bench, we will see you next week on Talking the Gridiron. Take it easy. Beat.